There's earth disaster here, and it's coming through. This is saying building collapse, and that comes through about right. Somehow the building that you inhabited came down. This is when you went the way of the chiromancer, the way of the walk, the way of the pilgrim. This is where you went from building from city life to field life. You had things that were helpful advances. Now this is something between lives. Very interesting. I think it's because you had to leave the city and what was coming into advancement behind. It's like you had to leave things were first starting to get out of medieval days into technological times. Even a little further than the medieval days is what I'm getting. The technology was starting to come along. People were starting to understand how to do things. But you had to go back, it felt like, in time, back a century. I don't think you literally went back in time. I think that your situation, instead of being thoroughly modern, became thoroughly farmland. Yeah. No wonder. Okay. It's like you go back to this cabiny, this woods land, this old woods crofting house. I think you are figuring out how to survive a little bit more independently on your own. I'm not getting much about your family yet, but I am getting much about your job. You have a wounded healer, well informed. You are city girl, city girl. It's like you could have been in a city chemist shop. I'm getting you coming through as a man, as a male person in this past life, but you're between worlds. And so you know your stuff, you know some of your basic, I don't know if it'd be herbology, pharmacology, whatever it is. You know how to put the components together. Are we in France? We're in France. There's something about fields and fields and fields of open fields. There's herbs, and you know the herbs. You know how to hang the things that you show her this. This is like her little house that she finally gets to. And instead of having the city thing, you have this thing instead where you have this, you've had to start again. You've had to start again. But you get very grounded. You don't move after this period of time. You're very grounded. People do come to you because you still have the formulas up here. You still have all the formulas in your head. You still know how to create. These formulations, this is showing a little bit, oh. Okay, all right. This is telling us a little bit of the backstory before you get the house. Okay, we're in the in-between now. This is showing you on the pilgrimage, walking. This is somebody spying on you, spying on you, spying on you, wanting you for somebody else in their family. Now this is wanting you for a marriage proposal, wanting you for marriage something or other. This is a brother that's saddled with a sister that doesn't want to take care of the sister, wants to pawn the sister off on you. This is pretty funny, but this is what's coming through. This is the brother that wants to travel and be wild and free. He's saddled with the sister here whenever he goes traveling, whether he's going from France to England and back again, I don't know, but something like that feels like what's going on, and he wants her married and settling down and having to settle down. So he needs a babysitter for his sister, so to speak, but a romantic babysitter, and he knows this. He needs somebody that would be willing to do the land game when he's out, you know, carousing and wanting to be on the water. And you fit the bill. So you guys come to some sort of an arrangement. Let's see if we can get a little bit snoopier about what this arrangement is. Wow, she really didn't have a whole lot of say in this. What I'm getting is you two struck the deal. Like, you come across his path, he sees you, and he's an opportunist. He sees you. He must have known you from the city by reputation or either by sight, because he sees you walking with everything you own, essentially, after the building comes down, after all your stuff. Anything that was salvageable, you would have salvaged out of that building. But you guys strike the deal. It's like, okay, you take care of my sister, her and the house can be yours. I'm gone now. My obligation's met, and there's some kind of arrangement made. And it suits you guys fine. It lets you have a sense of stability again in a fairly easy manner and keep your career. And it lets him have his rowdiness. Very, very wild. It's like you guys couldn't have planned a better partnership for him. Her, she's not so thrilled about it, but it's fair enough, I guess. She's very independent. She likes to be outdoors a lot. This is not the love of your life, but this is who you spend your life with. It's a good marriage. It works. I think that she's not interested in the same things you are, and it's tricky to get her to come around. I think she's a little bit younger than you, so you see her as a little bit immature, a little fanciful. It's why it felt like babysitting. You do have her go fetch some ingredients. She is getting the hang of some things. She's not as good at the brewing and the alchemy as that you would like her to be. Do you have kids with this person? You do have kids with this person. Do you have kids with this person? And the card shows us this. Absolutely, you have kids with a person. You have 2 of them. And it feels like that is more than plenty. And she feels very, very grounded and stuck because of it. It's not quite how she wanted it. It feels like you had twins. It feels like that was a little bit of overwhelm from her. And that was the end of, you know, silly and lighthearted times for her. But okay, that's how it goes. It's showing me that she's pregnant one more time and loses a baby. And this is what causes her great amount of grief. The work of the twins would be quite something, but the grief of losing the 3rd child was too much. And that changes her core quite a bit. The grieving is something she doesn't get over, something she doesn't get over, something she doesn't get over. She spends a lot of time away from you. She never wants to be exposed to that again. I think you do what you can to try and make her happy, to offer her different things like baubles and gifts and all of this. That's the language of love that you show for her. But eventually there's just such coldness in there that you set off again. You go traveling one last time. It's like you guys are at an impasse. The twins are older. You're at an impasse. Where do you go? She stays home and needs her space, and you go because you guys, it's gone a little bit sideways for a minute. The appreciation for the situation isn't there. She's gotten older. She's gotten more determined in her own nature, and you just need a break from this. I think you go, and I don't think you have the clear intention of coming back. I think you do because it feels like you do right here. But right here, I think you were ready to just say, fuck this, I'm out of here, I'm done. It was just getting to be too much in whatever she was bringing forward. When you return, you see her, you see the kids. Do you see her with fresh eyes? Maybe a little bit. There's the kids. You see some of both of your younger selves in those kids. You do return, you do stay. The kids wonder what's going on. They don't know what's going on. Mom has been doing the alchemy, and she's been doing pretty good while you've been gone. So she actually learned more than what you thought. This is down the track in the garden. Give me a minute. Very social times, very skilled times. And this time of pause actually serves you well. I think you were gone for almost a year, maybe a little more than that, before you came back. I think the agreement was you'd travel and find different things that you needed, get stuff for your satchel, get stuff for the biz, the shop, whatever it is. I think you return and you're quite pleased. You return and you see one of the kids figuring it out. She's figured out more than you thought she'd figure out doing the alchemy thing. That's pretty wild. Anything else? What about the other kid that didn't necessarily go the way of the alchemy? The other kid is very much more art inclined, very more artistic inclined. I think you like seeing that creativity. It might have been a path that she would have taken had her circumstance been different. You could definitely understand the artistry in creating the things that you created, combining things in the way you did. You could see the artistry in that, but there also had to be logic, science, and specifics. She had very much the call of nature a little bit to her, but not as much of the alchemy. Now this second child, the second of the twins, is the one that more is the outside, more like the mom. Definitely more like the mom. This is the second one. Very more like the mom. Anything else? Do you guys stick it out then? Yeah, you do stick it out. She gets very, very strong. She charges forward in what she's doing. This is showing you die, but she carries on with what you taught her after you go. She's very, very strong, almost defiantly so. She knows what you taught her. And she thinks back on it fondly. She thinks back on it very fondly. It's almost like the brother, as soon as he got out of there, you barely saw hide or hair of him at all. The two of you had more of a friendship than a love of your life relationship, but it was sweet. There was sweetness there too. Very, very significant.
She put, I'm a twin and I'm an artist.
Yeah, well, both of these things in the past life, you were the father of one that carried each gift. And then the wife in that past life took the gifts you taught her, took the skills you taught her, shared them, honored this, and kept going forward. And there was we in modern times would call it memorial, but there was a stone, there was a space and place, and made sacred that you would go to. She would come visit you, and you would actually visit her, and I think she could see across the veil a little bit. I think she could see you visiting her, because she would come still for quite some time. It's like she would see you in the summer season, in what was your youth. Wow, that's beautiful. That's complete. That's what I got. Holy smokes. Yeah. The reason you were between worlds, again, that makes sense, because you would visit her and she would see you. Beautiful. This is beautiful. Yeah. This is a good lover, a good friend. Good, good, good friend. Took a while. Took work. Wasn't easy. That's what I got.
Very.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You just never know where these are going to take you. You just don't. They're so fascinating to see. It's fascinating also when you ask the cards, well, did you have kids? And then you get something and it's clearly showing children or kids or a child. And you ask the questions, or in my head, I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next? And I love it. That was fabulous. Yeah, wow.